All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Hana ho, one more time. Here we are. We're gonna talk this morning a little bit about Rotary. Actually, we're gonna talk a lot about Rotary. We're gonna actually attempt to do this about every other month, and so it's this particular presentation is called "Welcome to Rotary," and it's really designed to be a sort of overview of what Rotary is and what what Rotary can do for you and how you can participate in Rotary. So we're going to go through a little PowerPoint show that I started putting it together, and then Naomi sort of polished it up a little bit. And then on the back end of that, we'll have a discussion. And hopefully, if you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat, or when we're done, raise your a little virtual hand, and either myself or Naomi or DG Ted or anybody here can actually answer that. All right. Shall we get going, Naomi?
Sure. We're going to be doing a poll, and it requires a QR code on your phone to get an answer into the poll. So if you could get your phones out and get your QR code reader up, that would be great. So that'll be later on in the presentation. But hey, this guy, Tom Logan, I think he's in Japan. So it must be, hey, Tom, is it 3 o'clock in the morning for you?
Yeah. Good morning. Oh, well, good morning is right. It is 4:07 a.m. here.
Wow. Way to go, Tom.
Yeah, that's dedication, huh? We
But
got the
see what kind
coffee.
of
We got the coffee going here.
ah, but see what kind of innovation Pearl Harbor has, that they have a member that's in Japan and he's joining their club meetings by Zoom. So thanks for coming. Okay, so I'll start their PowerPoint. So um, you can get us started. Benson?
Okay. Well, this is a picture of one of our clubs over in Kona, and we put this picture up because we like it. It's a wide variety of people that are in Rotary. One of the great things about Rotary is that a lot of the things, and almost just really about everything we do it together as a group. So our job basically is to do good in the world. Now, part of Rotary's mission or their vision, and this is it really, it's together that we see a world where people unite, they take action, create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. So Rotary is really an organization of people together that are trying to do good things in the world and create change that is lasting across the globe in our communities and really in ourselves. And so that's what a lot of Rotary is about, is, developing yourself into a better person. Okay. So here are the core values of Rotary, and I won't read every single one of them, but Rotary basically is an organization that has some really strong values, and those values are really around trying to improve our lives as not just Rotarians, but everybody on the planet. So we've done things like basically wipe polio off the face of the earth. And it's because we go out there with these types of core values that helps us to basically advance what Rotary wants to do around the world. So part of what we do in an organization as large as Rotary is to look at things that can really help us to grow together. And so, there's been a lot in the news lately about DEI, and we're all over that. Diversity, equity, inclusion, service, leadership, fellowship. We feel like these are really good core values, and that people are attracted to those. And it helps us really to bond and make relationships that are lasting and to do good work out in the community that makes a really great impact. Okay, so Rotary was started in 1905 by a guy named Paul Harris. That's the guy at the end And in case you didn't know who he was, we put a convenient arrow there to point out who he was. And basically, Paul Harris was an attorney that wanted to put together a networking group. So he got three of his friends, and that was the beginning of Rotary. And they called it Rotary because I know this is a hard one to believe, but because they rotated the meeting from office to office. So they called it Rotary. I know that sounds really simple, but that's how Rotary got its name. Now, Rotary is an international service organization. So if you have a chance, we're going to talk more later in the presentation about our international convention. So Naomi and I were, and Ted, a bunch of people on this call were at the last international convention, which was in Singapore. So this is actually the Singapore shirt that we're wearing. But I tell you, it's super amazing if you can attend one of these international conventions and just to see all these flags on the stage and to get a feel for the enormity of what Rotary is doing around the world. Because, in our little clubs, we tend to think that Rotary is just us in our little club, but it's us in our district, in our state, in our nation, around the entire planet. Super, super powerful where you see the impact that Rotary has around the entire planet and the really great people that are involved in Rotary around the world. So great. So we're a network of 35,000 clubs. I think it's actually more clubs than that around the world in about 220 countries. So the fastest growth right now in Rotary is not really in North America. It's in other areas, a lot through Asia. And so, being a worldwide organization, Rotary touches something everywhere. And especially in the work that we do out there service-wise, people say if there's anything really good happening in the world, Rotary is nearby. So I'm gonna let Naomi take the next few slides so I can take a little break.
Okay. Hey, they don't have a pin in Russia, and I'm pretty sure we have some clubs in Russia.
Yeah, pretty sure too.
Yeah.
So we got to update the pins on this one. So
Yep.
go ahead.
Okay, so let's talk about the structure of Rotary. So the structure of Rotary are the clubs. So number one is our clubs at the top of the pyramid. Then we have Rotary International and the foundation. And the foundation is what drives all of our efforts around the world with the donations. So when you look at Rotary International, this is how we're organized. The clubs are into districts into zones, and then we have zones into Rotary International. So we have 45? That's 45,000, including Rotaractors. Okay, so 1,400,000 Rotarians and Rotaractors, but 10,000 Rotaract clubs, 25,000 Interact clubs, and the Interact clubs are the ones in the high school and middle schools. We have 535 districts, 34 zones, and 220 countries. So when you go to the international convention and you see that flag ceremony with 220 flags, it's impressive. Some people come to tears when they see that. So Ted talked about our Rotary International president, and this is her picture, Stephanie Urchik, and she's from Pennsylvania. Last year, our president was from the UK, and the year before, who was the year before? Oh, United States, back to United States. Okay, so we are District 5,000. Okay, so easy to remember, 50th state, 5,000, right? And this was when we went to PETS, the President-elect training. We give lay to everybody in the audience, 600 people. So this is Ted's group of presidents at the President-elect training. So we had a lot of fun with that. The first Rotary Club in Hawaii. So Rotary started in 1905, right? Hawaii, we started in 1915, and it was the Rotary Club of Honolulu with 29 members, and they were downtown in this building. I think it was on maybe Bishop Street, what Bishop Street is now. So here are the stats for our district. We have 1,420 Rotarians, 50 clubs, including 2E clubs. 2 Rotaract clubs, 41 Interact clubs. Interact clubs are really growing in our district, and 2 Community Core. Community Core is a group of people who want to be associated with Rotary, that they do projects. Then here are the pictures of our leaders. So Ted, our current district governor. Next year is Nancy Cabral. She's the district governor elect, and she's from the Rotary Club of Hilo. And then the district governor after is called the district governor nominee, and that is Benson, who's from the Rotary Club of South Hilo. So leadership right there. So what do we do? Hey, Benson, what do we do?
All kinds of stuff. So that's one of the things that when people join Rotary, they get involved in a club and they want to know, well, what kinds of things do we do? So this little segment talks about stuff that we do. So obviously that one was getting supplies. So Rotarians are really people of action, right? So, we're not a group that comes together and just, meets, have lunch and talk about problems and everybody goes home and stops thinking about it. I mean, Rotary is where, neighbors, friends, problem solvers, people that want to take action and do stuff for their community. That's why they join Rotary. They join Rotary because they want to do something. And so this has really kind of been our thing, people of action, for several years now. We're problem solvers, right? Problem solvers. So when Rotary decided to take on polio back in 1984, they launched all their people and resources, and really in the years since then, we've eradicated polio off the face of the planet, outside of a few little cases here and there. That's the power of Rotary. And of course, Bill Gates was kind of behind us too, so he helped a little bit too. But we went to all these places and immunized, billions of children against polio, and that's the kind of impact Rotary can make out in the world.
And Benson, we still have to immunize children today. So
Yes.
Rotary is there in 60 countries, immunizing 400 million children every year. And it's because as long as there's polio on the face of the planet, it can travel anywhere, even to Hawaii. So in Hawaii, we're immunizing our children here, and it's because we know that we don't want them to get polio, because there's no cure for polio. So we still need to donate to the polio plus fund because of those 400 million children that we have to do every year.
That's right. It's an active disease, and later on we'll have PDG Roz talk about that. Okay, so the Rotary Foundation is actually one of the most active, trustworthy, biggest foundation where people donate money to all over the planet. And Charity Navigator, who rates charity organizations all over the world, they've consistently given us this 4-star rating, meaning that as far as the donations that you have, how they go to work, how they're spent, like you see in this graphic, 91% of the funds are spent on programs, awards, and operators, and that's not the case in other charities, where 50% of it actually goes to operate it. So it was started by Arch Klump, who was one of the first presidents of Rotary, and he proposed basically an endowment. And that endowment really was to basically build money to do good things around the world. And so, like it says in the graphic, he had this initial contribution of $26.50. So that's a big number. That's a significant number in Rotary. But it's really this organization, the Rotary Foundation, that fuels all of the stuff that Rotary does globally and around the world.
And because of the stewardship that Rotary has, you can be assured that when you donate to the Rotary Foundation, it's going to be used in the proper way, that it's being applied to the purpose that it was given. So we have 7 areas of focus for Rotary. So these are 6 of them. It's promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, maternal health, supporting education and growing economy. So a few years ago, we added the seventh one, which is the environment. And so it was because we were already doing projects in the focus area of environment. So in the past 5 years, well, maybe 6 years now, it's $18 million that the Rotary Foundation has given with global grants to help the environment, because we know that is an area that Rotarians are very interested in, and that we need to do work in this focus area. We also have 5 avenues of service. So you'll find that there's an avenue that you might be interested in. So for club service, that's within the club, finding speakers, getting the clubs ready for their meetings, doing social. It's getting that club culture, or working on the club experience within the club. That's club service. And so we have committees in every club that will work on these avenues. Then we have vocational service, and that's where you're using your vocational skill to help with a project or to share with your members. Community service, of course, is working on projects in our communities, and our community could be an international community as well. Youth service is working with the youth. So we have programs in the high school, middle school, in the colleges. Well, college is Rotary Aug, but we do camps, leadership camps. We do youth exchange with other districts in the world. And it's a leadership program that we have for the youth service. In international service is doing international projects. So we may do it with a global grant. We just are doing one. Okay, we're going to Papua New Guinea in a few months to do a project. Vietnam this year. Last year, we went to Fiji. The year before, we went to Nepal. So we're doing international service projects because there's a lot of need in the world. So our collective efforts in the annual report for 2020-21, we did 47 million volunteer hours around the world, raised $434 million for the Rotary Foundation. So that was 1,199 global grants and 207 disaster grants. So we collectively can solve a lot of problems in the world with what we give to Rotary Foundation. Benson?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So one of the opportunities that Rotary puts out there is the opportunity to develop leadership skills. We're going to talk a little bit more about what kinds of specific opportunities are in our district. But if you're a person that maybe hasn't had that opportunity, or would like to have that opportunity, there's plenty of that within Rotary. And people of all ages, young people who have recently retired, come into Rotary, and now they have a chance really to develop skill sets or do things that maybe they haven't had the opportunity to do it. But with things like Interact, which is our high school Rotarians, Ryla Youth Exchange, Peace Center, Rotary Community Course, and then Rotary Action Group, there's lots of opportunity to empower leaders to do all kinds of things in Rotary. And we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that going down. Okay, we're community service people. So like I was saying earlier, whenever there's anything happening in the community, Rotarians are engaged, okay? They're out there, doing whatever it's going to take, pouring cement, throwing Genki balls in the Alawai, raking up leaves, painting, repairing things. And that's one of the most satisfying parts of what Rotary can do out there. There's also the slide up here, you see promoting peace. You're going to start, now that I mention them, as you're moving around our state, you're going to see these peace poles, and there are poles that are up there that have different slogans of peace all the way around them. And Rotary puts those up not only all over our state, but all over the entire world. So we are community service people. Okay, we work with our youth. So Rotary has this thing out there. A lot of some of you familiar with. It's called RILA. It's Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, and it's basically these little camp situations where we take high school age students and work with them in developing their leadership skills, giving them opportunity to learn more about Rotary and how they can develop as they grow older into people that can contribute more and more into Rotary. And we have these groups all over our entire state, all over the nation, actually, even all over the world. So if you're a person that really wants to work with youth, lots of opportunity to do that in Rotary. So we even have a Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation now. It was started by Sully Sullivan, who was actually our district governor in 1976 to 77. Now, Sully Maurice Sullivan, as you may know, is the person who started the Foodland, Sack and Save, all of that. And so it was his really desire to assist high school graduates to realize potential by attending the college of their choice. So every year, last year, we actually, each of the participating clubs awarded a $5,000 scholarship, and HRYF gave out $270,000 in scholarships last year. So we do quite a bit to help high school kids that are wanting to pursue stuff into college. We gave the clubs gave a $5,000 scholarship, but then they actually get the top winners and put them together and have another basic, not really competition, but they award another $10,000 scholarship for the overall youth person in our district. So that's a great thing.
Yep. So HRYF is a separate entity with its own board, but the Rotary clubs participate by taking in the applications and doing the interviews and selecting the winners. So they select the person, the student, to get their $5,000 scholarship from their club. And so we keep in touch with them, hopefully, so they can come back and tell us what they're doing. But it's that participation with the scholarships that is really rewarding, to give out $270,000 a year. And the clubs themselves give scholarships from their own club money. And once I did a poll a couple of years ago, and it's about $200,000 extra that the clubs give in scholarships as well. So we really support the youth in our area. Okay, so here we're connecting with the school communities. We do dictionaries. For third graders, we may do a reading program. The Read to Me organization was spun off from our Honolulu Sunrise Club. And so they still do reading programs. So lots of things that we do with the schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. We're also in the world doing relief for disasters. Of course, everybody knows about the Lahaina disaster. We have a lot of projects in Lahaina helping them to recover. One of the really cool projects that Lahaina Sunrise is doing is a vocational project. They have businesses apply for replacement of things that they lost in the fire, like tools, hairdressers with their dryers, and they would give money to buy the tools so they can continue to do business in Lahaina. When we had the Puna lava, we had a relief fund for that. When Kauai had flooding, we had a relief fund for that. But we're also all around the world doing relief projects with our disaster fund. And that is through the Rotary Foundation. We support nonprofits. Here on the bottom, that's Kauaiki Village and on Oahu. We did welcome kits. So everyone who moved in got a little kit of toilet paper and pots and pans and dishes and things. So that was a really impactful project that we did. We also want to make sure that we are offering you an experience with Rotary. And so, Benson, let's talk about designing the Rotary experience and what's in it for our new members.
Okay, well, Rotary is, it's a membership organization, and that means that, you get to choose ways in which you want to be involved. So, and every club is an autonomous organization that can decide how they want to pursue Rotary's values and goals. And so, some clubs are, they want to get out and really focus on environmental things. Some clubs are really dedicated to getting out dictionaries, reading to kids. So that's a really cool thing about Rotary, is that you get a chance to decide how and to what degree you want to be involved in the club and anything that's beyond that, because there's lots of opportunity. Okay, so you want to explain how this works? This first time I seen this, Naomi put this in. So go ahead.
So if you can get your phone and scan the QR code, or go to on your computer slido.com and put that code in, you will, on your phone, when you get to this page, you're able to put in a word. So the question is, why did you join Rotary? So put in a word or a sentence and let us know why you joined Rotary.
Or if you haven't
Service.
joined yet, you can put why you want to join Rotary.
Yeah. Now, networking, volunteering,
Cool.
payback. Yeah.
Yeah. Veterans
Oh,
service. Great. Later on, we're gonna have I'm gonna call on some of the people on our call to tell their Rotary story, right? And your Rotary story is pretty simple. It's basically why you joined Rotary and then why you're still in Rotary today. Wow, this is
but
great.
you can see here we joined for different reasons, and Benson will say you might join for one reason, but you might stay for another reason. So
Yeah,
service and
yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead, Naomi.
So the more popular answers are the word gets bigger. So you can see service and community service are the very popular answers.
And what happens is that over time, the longer you're Rotary, and I'll let some of the other longtime Rotarians speak to this, is that the reason you join, you would think, and the reason you stay in Rotary might be the same thing, but it evolves over time. So, like for me, I joined because I wanted to do community service, and as time evolved, I stay in Rotary because of the relationships, right? And if we change the question to why do you stay in Rotary if you're already a Rotarian, probably the biggest one would be because I have relationships with the people that are in my club, and and I like them, I like hanging out with them, I like working with them. So that's a super big plus for Rotary.
Yeah.
So it looks like service and community services, those are our two big winners. Huh?
Yep. And whoever put in the globes, that was pretty cool. So let's see. I think I missed one. Okay. Benson, you want to continue?
Yeah. Okay, well, we have a chance to learn new skills because Rotary is really it's a learning organization, right? And a lot of what's baked into our culture locally is that we're continual learners, right? So when you get into Rotary, there's all kinds of opportunity. I mean, you have like Bev Hikus is on the call today. She's our assistant governor. And so, Bev like logged on to this learning center, and just started taking like every course that's available. There's actually about 1,500 different courses in about 10 different languages. So if you're an industrious person or just somebody that loves to take online courses, lots of opportunity for you to do that, as well as live stuff. I mean, you get a chance to, we have mentorship programs where you can work on your professional development opportunities. And that's one of the cool things about Rotary is we have people that are really have become very, very good, like masters of their, particular occupation or their, what they did for a living, that are willing to really mentor younger people that are coming up. So that's a really big plus about Rotary. You want to add anything to that, Naomi?
Oh, you mean like our Saturday webinars like that?
Yes. Yeah, like that. Like this is why you're out there today. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of webinars, learning opportunities on Saturdays, and it's for different groups. So we might have one on community. Right after this, we're going to have one for the community service. We might have another one for membership chairs. We might have another one for other training. So we have a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities to learn. But if you go to the Learning Center on Rotary.org, and each of you should get a My Rotary account, you'll find a ton of courses that you do on your own pace. And there's tons of Toastmasters on public speaking and getting organized and managing time. You'll find a lot in the Rotary Learning Center. So when you think about leadership and learning, you can develop your own skills by doing the sessions on the Learning Center. But also when you work on a project, you're developing leadership skills as well. So we use our leadership skills to network, to get projects done. And so putting our heads together can really make an impact on what we do in the community. So the benefits of volunteering. So there's a scientific research report that says when you volunteer, you improve your physical and mental health. And physical being because some of these projects you really got to work out and do a lot of heavy lifting and digging. But you find your purpose. So it kind of makes you a whole person when you can find your purpose, but also expanding your network. When you go to a project and you're next to someone painting, you're going to be talking about your careers or what you do. So you're going to expand your network with these projects. You build long-lasting friendships. So Benson, tell us more about long-lasting friendships.
Long-lasting friendship. Okay, well, just like my situation when I got into Rotary, like I said, I got in because I wanted to do service projects. But the more I got to know the people that were in my club and other clubs, and then just in Rotary in general, the more that I began to say, like, joining Rotary just to do business networking. Yeah, I wanted to do business networking too. But the quality of the people is really what attracts me and keeps me in Rotary. Um, I tell the story a lot. When I was a kid, I asked my dad, well, what am I going to be when I grow up? And he told me, I was about 8 years old. He told me, you're going to be whatever you're around the most. If you're around good people, you'll end up being a good person. If you're around bad people, you'll end up being a bad person. So, when I take a look at the quality of the people that are in Rotary and the kind of relationships that you can foster, not just during the time you're in Rotary, but like forever. And you get this opportunity, especially if you aspire to be up at like district governor level. I mean, Ted over here and has friends all over the world because you get a chance to meet people all over the world, and you find out that you have a lot of things that are in common. And now you have this global network that not only is like a cool thing to have, but it's great in terms of helping you to have a global perspective on things, which generally a lot of us don't have a chance to do that because we're just thinking about our little club in the town that we live in. So lifelong relationships, that is one of the key things that keep people in Rotary and make it really meaningful for them.
Mhm. And when you join a fellowship, we have 100 fellowships around the world, and you can talk with people who know the same kind of jargon you do. So, for instance, when we have a wine appreciation fellowship in our district, when we go to the convention, we're sitting with people at a really nice dinner, drinking wine with people from around the world, and you make friends for life. So here's how you can get involved. Go to the Learning Center, set up your My Rotary account, and you do that with a user code. Your email address is your username. Follow on social media. So we do have Facebook accounts for the district, for the clubs, Rotary International, the fellowships, all have Facebook accounts. And then tell your leaders in your clubs about what you've learned today, what inspires you, what you would like to learn, and expand your Rotary experience. So the convention is usually in May and June. So Benson talked about the convention that we just went to in Singapore, which was fantastic. But coming up is Calgary. After that is Taipei. In 2027, the convention is going to be in Honolulu. So you'll be hearing more about that. But Benson, tell us about Calgary.
Yes, my favorite subject. All right, so if you want to go to a worldwide gathering of Rotarians, our international convention, the next one is in Calgary. I'll be leading the charge up there for the Rotarians. So you know, we're gonna actually have an organizational meeting. I'll send it out to everybody on August 12th. So it's 21st to 25th of June in Calgary. Calgary is not that far away. You know, you go to the West Coast, jump on another flight, you end up being in Calgary, and it'll be just a terrific opportunity. It's not that expensive to go there and get around other Rotarians around the world. And so stay tuned if that's something that you're interested in. Love to have you over there. And believe me, once you go to an international convention, it's really a game changer. And I was sitting, one person in our district, Liz Kane, has been to 20 international conventions. So it is kind of a cool thing. Now you don't have to go to 20 of them, but start with Calgary. That'll be a good place to start. Okay, so here's our website, rotaryd5000.org. And so there's tons of information. So our website is not just, you know, something you can click through and find out, you know, what hours we're open and whatever. It's really a treasure trove. It's a library of a lot of reference material about Rotary. So if you're one of these people like that can't sleep at, you know, in the middle of the night and you're looking for something to do, go on our website and you can just click on all of those links. There's dozens and dozens of them, and you can watch, like you'll be able to rewatch this meeting right now. You can go on our website in a few days. Naomi will post it up. It's great. Rotary International is rotary.org. You can go on there, get yourself signed up, get a My Rotary account. There's an opportunity for you to set that up, and having a My Rotary account gives you access to all this learning materials, whole slug of stuff that will help you to increase your Rotary experience. So any more you want to add to that, Naomi?
Yeah, don't forget that you can find clubs when they're meeting, where they're meeting. And because you're a Rotarian, you can go to any of these meetings worldwide. Just go show your Rotary pin, your emblem, and you'll be welcomed in there. Okay, so lots of information on the websites. Please check it out. Get it on your phone. You can get a Club Runner app on your phone. But remember that service above self is our motto. And so when we look at what we do, the impact we have on the communities in our area, the areas we serve, it is service above self. So let's go for questions now. There is one in the chat, Benson, about having bilingual glossaries in the dictionary project. And I believe you can ask for different types of dictionaries. So if your club has a project, you can go to the dictionary project website and see if they have those other glossaries. But if we can find downloaded for free other languages, that would be a benefit for your club.
Yeah. So Elizabeth, that was your question. You want to unmute and chat a little bit about that? Obviously, you've got some experience there.
Right, thank you. I have a big book project here in Hawaii with high school students who are learning English. I'm a children's book author, and so I teach them how to write children's books. And one of the things that the kids are challenged with is in all their classes, math, science, social studies, all those classes, you know, trying to understand what the words in the English textbooks say, And so these glossaries that I'm mentioning in my note, New York City worked with the university and they have them online, so I can find the website and put it on there. And you can download any of them for free. And the only thing is, of course, they don't have a lot of the languages from our area. So Chuk, Samoan, they don't have those languages. So the kids at Waipahu High School this summer, the ones that I work with to produce their own books, like this one, the kids wrote this.
Cool.
And anyway, they were interns for a translation project and they learned how to translate. So we could get them to, create the glossaries for these other languages because they have all the students from the different areas. And I was just thinking, if you're going to give English dictionaries, you could just then also include one copy of each of these glossaries that might serve, and the teachers can make copies of them or, go on that website too.
Okay. Well, thanks for offering that. That's a great idea because, part of what we try to do in Rotary is just, make it easy for people to join in, and language is a really, really key thing. So we have a lot of people on the call, about 30 people on the call. Anybody want to add anything to what we just saw, the information that Naomi and I put out there, or relay whatever experience they've had in Rotary for the enlightenment of others? Anyone? How about Nathan? I see Nathan's right in the middle of my screen here. So let's talk about, you're a relatively young guy, so why Rotary? I mean, what attracts somebody like you to Rotary?
Yeah, thanks, Benson. And Elizabeth's comment there on bilingual stuff made me think of experiences. When I started, I was early in the workforce. Like a lot of people did it to network, but you just never know the ways Rotary can take you in different directions. We had that thing called the pandemic. We all got stuck inside, and I decided to learn Portuguese and ended up connecting with some Rotarians from Brazil who were in a group with Rotarians from Peru that had a language learning kind of weekly video that we would watch and then talk about, and ended up becoming kind of lifelong friends with these Rotarians in Brazil and in Peru. Now, I've been to Brazil, met a couple of them in person, never been to Peru, but just a few months ago, my cousin went to Lima and I was like, hey, you should connect with my friend down in Peru. And she showed him all over Lima. And that's just one little example of, I would have never guessed when I joined Rotary that I would be in a language group from folks in Brazil and Peru. But one example, since Elizabeth mentioned it, in the ways that Rotary can take you in all sorts of directions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thanks, Nathan. That was a cool story. I forgot that you told me that story, and that was really cool. But besides language groups, I mean, you can be in all kinds of fellowships. Like our district governor here, Ted. Ted, tell us about the Gin Fellowship Group.
So also during COVID, a group began to connect online on Facebook, different Rotarians, and someone proposed we ought to have a Rotary Fellowship for gin. People who like gin, drinking gin, want to learn more about gin, and we just began to network with each other online and said, yeah, we'd be interested to help start that up. So the next thing I knew, they were asking me to be one of the founding board members instead of just a member. But we checked around to find out what were the rules for starting an official Rotary International Fellowship. And among the rules were, of course, having things like bylaws and officers and sort of standard stuff. But also one of the requirements was to have at least 25 founding members from at least 5 different countries.
Wow.
So luckily, but we all had some connection somewhere in another country, and within 6 months, we had all of the required documents. We had more than 25 people from more than 5 countries. So we applied and became then one of the official Rotary Fellowships. And we continue to have online meetings, usually about every other month, and we invite distillers from all over the world to come and tell us their story of how they got into making gin, and take their laptop around and show us a little bit of their distillery and tell us about the kinds of ingredients that they use and how they source those ingredients. So we've all had a lot of fun learning about gin and sharing stories about our experience in gin, and going to different craft distilleries. One time we even made our own gins at home. That was our project 1 month, and then we got together the next month and shared with each other what gin we made. So there are about 140, I believe, of these Rotary International Fellowships. If you go to rotary.org and search on fellowships, you'll find the complete list. And that's another great way to just have fun in Rotary, and also to meet people from all over the world. And some of these people now are my really dear friends.
Wow, that's a great story, Ted. Thanks a lot for that. So we're down to about the last 10 minutes or so. Any other questions? If you don't want to raise your hand and ask the question, you can put it in the chat. Any questions?
Benson, this is Alan.
Go ahead, Alan.
Hi, just a comment. We do an orientation for our prospective members before we advance their application for membership. And in going through all our past achievements, it's a proud moment to do that. But then I realized after that, we need to include what Rotary can do. What other things can we do? And so I spent some time looking at stuff like, a couple of years ago, there was a podcast on music heals in Rotary. Is this something that we can start doing more in our clubs to promote musical gatherings? I thought about, of course, peace in different ways. And I remember I told the Rotary International president, we should adopt the local culture here and have a peace center in Hawaii. I thought about, I'm trying to read my scratchiness. Oh, about homelessness. This is a worldwide problem. And, is there a way that we can bring our minds together to solve this problem? If we are good problem solvers, I'm pretty sure we can solve this. But we seem to not want to talk about that elephant in our room most of the time. When I heard Dwayne Kurisu talk about building communities instead of building shelters for homeless people, I thought maybe we should start looking at how we can adopt communities to be part of our the projects and programs that we do. So that's kind of I'd like to look into the future and see what kind of things we can do and to include all the past achievements. And one last comment is that Google is a wonderful place to find documents about Rotary. If you want to get the latest application, if you go to Rotary International website, it takes a lot of clicks to finally get to something. But when you go to Google and say Rotary membership application, pops right up. It's most quickly. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay, who is that?
You were talking about a peace center. The Lawai International Center is a peace center with 88 Buddhist shrines that are located in Lawai, Kauai. But Lawai International Center is a peace organization in Lawai on Kauai, just FYI. The other thing is remembering I don't know if we're allowed to pray anymore, but the Rotary prayer was for good food, good fellowship, and every opportunity for Rotary service. And that was read at our club, past, present, and future. And that's it. The fellowship, being together and meeting people, and the opportunity of service. Good ideas come, businesses come. That's why women are allowed now, because it's a business organization too. And each meeting we have, there's always at least one or two contacts that I have that are not Rotary related, but are business or personal related. Every meeting I go to, and that's why they started Rotary. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, in the decade that I've been in Rotary, it's actually changed my entire field of work. I mean, everything that I do occupationally was influenced by what happened to me after I joined Rotary. So we're just in the final last few minutes. So before I call on somebody, I'll
Call
have-
on Nancy, please. Nancy has
I'll
a
have
comment.
I'll call on Nancy right now.
Nancy.
Because Nancy has a comment. Go ahead, Nancy. You'll have to unmute yourself. You're on mute. Yeah, it's that pesky little button on your phone.
Uh-oh. Okay, she's at the airport.
Oh, she's at the
And
airport. Okay.
and she wanted to say that the fellowships, because like Ted said, there is over 100 fellowships. They're not all on booze. It's not all on drinking.
Yeah.
It's not all about wine and gin and whiskey. You can find fellowships on quilting or playing chess or
Gardening. Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
there's
bunch.
a lot of other things. So please check out the fellowships. You will find people that can talk the same kind of language in that topic.
So in
Right,
a couple,
Nancy?
yeah. So in a couple of minutes, we're going to actually transition into our next meeting, which starts at 10 o'clock, and it's about community service. And Nathan is actually our district community service czar, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going to be going on within our districts and how you can participate in that. So does before we actually transition to our next meeting, anybody else have any other comments or things that they would like to say or ask before we roll over into community service? No?
Well, Ted, did you want to close this up?
Okay.
Yeah, again, thank you for taking time this morning and for all of your great questions and comments. Hopefully this has, if you're either a refresher for those of you already in Rotary, but if you're new to Rotary, hopefully it's opened your eyes and ears to lots of different opportunities and ways to connect through Rotary, both within Hawaii and internationally. And it's really up to you to pick and choose what you want to be involved in and what you want to spend your time on. And it's about finding your own why. Why, if your why is giving back to the community, then what are the opportunities for you to do that in Rotary, both working in your club and across clubs? So I encourage you to get involved in projects within your club, but also look at other opportunities outside your club. And if you have questions that come up, don't be bashful about asking your club president, or ask me, or ask Benson, or ask Naomi. And we're more than happy to try to point you to resources and help make connections so that you can get the value out of Rotary that you want to get. And we can all be irresistible. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Ted. That's awesome. So Summer wanted to take a quick group picture.
So if
Now,
everybody can turn on their video.
yeah, if you can turn your video on, that will be super great. So Summer can get your face on it. She says I'm like super excited. So are you just gonna, Summer, you're just gonna take it with your little camera like that? Okay, cool. Look at all these happy Rotarians. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Okay, you're good. We're good. Anybody else want to take a group? Wow, look at that. We're all on right now. So let's all take one. Take one. Okay. Okay, folks, this is super cool. So we try to do these little workshops about every other month. So if you're a new person, you can attend this thing as many times as you want. If you have people that are prospective people that want to know a little bit about Rotary before they join, have them attend and they can get their questions answered. It's always entitled Welcome to Rotary, and it's introduction to Rotary for anybody that really wants to know more about it. And you know, we always get people that have been in Rotary like a million years and want to learn more about Rotary. So it's a great opportunity. Okay, Naomi, any final last words before we stop the recording and start the next recording?
Nope, stopping the recording now.